Okay, here's the pile of junk that goes in the canyon with us. We've kind of put it all out here. You can see that all this stuff, my side's this side, Dean's the other side, all this stuff has to go in this little puppy. And so we take double headlamps, take all our moleskins, pre-cut, cut all the jazz, knee braces, the cocaine patch for my knees in case I desperately need it.
Clothes.
All the clothes, sneakers, soles.
These guys say that it's doable. I don't know. We'll see. So getting the gear, going into town, getting some more gear, and then up to the lodge. See you there. Beautiful,
Gorgeous.
beautiful day. Gorgeous day here in Flagstaff. Just hanging out, doing some work here before we head up to the canyon.
Hey, it's the night before. It's what time? 7 o'clock?
6:10.
So we'll be back here in 8 hours, 3 a.m. We'll start right here.
In the dark,
In the
going
dark.
down there. We won't see it, we just know it's there.
50-mile nightmare begins.
That is a long way down. My goodness. Wow.
I blink.
Don't die, don't die. Breathing is good. Don't die, don't die. So tomorrow night I won't have my camera on. It'll be too dark.
You can't imagine.
Yeah,
That's a glorious moment, man.
because then you're only 100 yards,
You
maybe.
go through that tunnel tomorrow night, you'll be
Elated. You can crawl.
so happy.
You can crawl up here. Boy, don't take a wrong step here, huh?
Can you imagine what this is going to be like at 3 a.m.?
Wow, look at that.
Isn't that cool?
That is really cool. Oh my gosh, look at this view. Wow. This one? No.
No, see the trail, that's Herman.
That's pretty much all I thought about that day. Just don't die, don't die, don't die, don't die. There's a fish, there's a rock, who cares? Don't die. I don't want to die, don't let me die. Let's swim and breathe and live. Because living is good and dying not as good.
So we're in our room here. We got 6 hours to go. And is that about right?
Did you see a...
And we're just gearing up and getting our stuff ready. So we got things are moving along here. We got more food than we really need. I do. And it looks kind of fun. So this is base camp, right guys? Yeah. Feeling good? Woohoo!
Ready to get
This is the
started.
fun stage.
Well, it's hard to see in this light. We've been walking about 2.5 hours. Can't see it. About 2.5 hours. There's the moon, Colorado River. Been going pretty good here, so that's about all I can show for now. All right, we're here at Phantom Ranch. It was a 3-hour hike down. Nice little hike, huh? And you found something in the cache, or you geoed it?
I logged, signed a guest register at the river house just as you hit the river.
Okay. So this is Phantom Ranch, 9 miles, right? And just up the river from the Colorado River is about half a mile down there. People are getting up at 6:30 and 6:20, and we'll leave in about 10 minutes. But what a nice day! Well, I'm actually feeling pretty good. I got two little blisters though, one there and one there, on the inside of my toe. So I hope that bandage will help work it out. Very dusty. Got these gaiters on. Dusty, a little sweaty. But got a little food here. Got an egg, a little chicken, a little grub, and we'll be heading back. What's the next? Cottonwood?
Cottonwood.
That's 5 miles.
6.
6 miles. Next stop, Cottonwood. 6 miles, and then we're gonna soak. You got a song for the morning? I love to go a-wandering along the streams of green. And when I go wandering... Oh, we just left Phantom Ranch. Well, about 45 minutes from Phantom Ranch. Beautiful, easy morning walk. 6.5 miles up to Cottonwood, where we're going to take a break. And walking along this river,
been very, very nice, leisurely morning. Beautiful morning. 7:15 on October 10th. 2 deer! 2 deer on the path. Well, we've been walking an hour since Phantom Ranch. Just a lovely walk up this thing. Kind of a cool overhang right here. There's Mr. Minter and Mr. Steve. Boy, some beautiful canyon here. Light coming up on the rim. Well, not the top of the rim, but beautiful little creek coming through here, and just a beautiful, beautiful place. Man, this is beautiful out here. Just magnificent. Look at the red cliffs there. Well, we're here at Cottonwood and soaking in the river. Woo! So we got, what, 16 miles done in 6 hours. Not bad. Wow, beautiful little waterfall. Heading out of Cottonwood up to the rim. 7 miles to the rim and then 2 miles to the lodge. It's 10 o'clock. Hey, Minna! Well, we got a waterfall coming right out of the rocks up there. Some kind of tunnel or chair up there. I don't know. Maybe it's where they get the water from. Anyway, we're heading up the up to the top. Well, it's 12:40, and we're about a mile from the rim, and then another 2 miles after that to the lodge. We have to go to the lodge to make it a full 50. But that was a hike coming up here. I'll tell you, didn't take many pictures because that was a lot of work. But it's going to be a beautiful afternoon, and we'll hope to take a little rest at the top. Not as much as we thought we were going to have, but anyway, whew, we're feeling it.
You have Don.
You doing Don up in one day?
Oh man, I don't know.
Awesome.
Yep. Okay, here's the rim. 23 miles. It's 1 o'clock. That's 10 hours. Still got to go to the lodge, which is about 2 miles that way. Hopefully it's not too much uphill, is it? Oh well. That's our goal. But okay. Well, that's the big chunk of it.
So we can walk.
Well, we made it to the North Rim. Here we are. Hey, Don. Steve. Say hello. Steve's over there getting his stuff fixed. This is the balcony from the North Rim. Wow. 10.5 hours to here. And taking a break and head back.
And then we go back. 20 minutes.
All right. We're doing good. It was a hike up. Didn't get many pictures coming up, but this is where we've been. Way over yonder. Beautiful day, gorgeous day.
Yonder.
Hallelujah.
Explain to me.
Yonder?
How far is yonder?
Yonder, 25 miles over there.
I'll pass on this one.
Okay. We made it. Don, you wanna
We're off and running.
next will and testament? You wanna give away things?
Taking my major drugs, I'll feel fine.
All right.
And I don't even have a doctor as a wife. He got my drugs.
Yep. Oh, what a nice little break. Can't imagine that we're going back over to that other side.
Well, good morning. It's the day after the death march, and we three have made it. And you've watched this video. You saw a lot of footage from the beginning of this. And Dean, you made it out of there. Tell us why we don't see much footage after the North Rim.
Well, you know, because we started running from the North Rim, and these guys, crazy guys, said, "Oh, don't worry, we're going to jog," and they kept jogging, and I had no time to. I was at the very end. They were off and running, and I couldn't see them, and I didn't want to stop to take a picture. I didn't know where to turn. They left me in the dust, literally, their dust. They were running for like 8 miles downhill.
8 miles.
It was a long, and by the time we got to that ranger station, I was pooped. I didn't take out my camera. I didn't take my shoes off. I was feeling it.
Now, Steve, you didn't stop at all. Yours went straight from the North Rim all the way.
We never
to
saw him. We never saw him for the last 12 hours. Not a lick of him, except
Well,
his
I was the
shadow.
last one out at the North Rim and looking at my watch and knowing what I needed to do to get out of the canyon in under 24 hours. So I was planning to take an hour to 2 hours break at the North Rim, and I took a half an hour. Regathered my stuff, put fresh batteries in my headlamp, and
But Don, he was serious. He didn't talk to us at all, man. He had one mission: get
my focus. My focus was like that.
You didn't even sit with us on the North Rim.
He was getting his stuff
I was
together.
in the shade. These guys are still soaking in the sun.
We were just lounging, and Steve, man, he was off and running before we knew it.
We left the North Rim. Steve, you left a little bit, I think, right at 3
Right
or a
at
little
3
before
o'clock,
3.
I filled up my water, and actually I'd had a little leg cramping coming up the North Trail, the North Kaibab Trail, and a little concerned about that because if my legs cramped going back, I was in trouble.
You took off at 3 o'clock, and you got to Phantom Ranch at what time?
Well, I got to Cottonwood in 2 hours, and then I filled up. I drank about 3/4 of my water. I had it almost full. I drank most of that water at Cottonwood, filled it up again, and then took me. Let's see, I got to Phantom Ranch about 7:30.
Second half of our interview.
Get in here.
The Death March, 24 hours, 50 miles. Okay, so we left at Phantom Ranch.
That's right.
Steve took off.
You're the first one out, and you head out at what time?
7:30, I left Phantom Ranch, and of course I'd already had my headlamp on for about an hour before that, so it's good and dark by now. So,
Chill.
So as everybody knows, whether you do the Death March or the Rim to Rim to Rim, it's this last quarter of it coming out of Phantom Ranch when the fun really begins. Then you and I left at 8:30, and we head out, pitch black. We took a picture on the bridge. You can't see 2 feet.
My feet were killing me. Don took his shoes off, but I just couldn't get my shoes off, and I had blisters. So
Yeah, so at Phantom Ranch on, you also couldn't eat anymore. You quit eating at
3 or 4
Phantom Ranch.
bites of the sandwich that I bought at the Rim, and then it was just gutted out. Water and blocks.
Now, Steve, you got to Indian Gardens. You took a 15-minute break, right?
not really. I just drank some water out of the tap.
And then
Once
you
I
were
left Phantom Ranch, I just
You were
kept
on a
going. I
mission.
mean, I wasn't going very fast, but I pretty much just kept going.
So Dean and I took one little break about halfway up Indian Gardens out of the bowl there. We had a quick 10-minute break maybe. And then we got into Indian Gardens. Dean, you were starting to fall behind a little bit at that point.
I was feeling stomach upset. I just wasn't on target like I was on the first climb up the North Rim.
So I'm waiting for you at Indian Gardens. You roll in and you need a break.
I got a cramp in my stomach, and I said, "Man, this feels like I gotta go be in big time." So I found a restroom, and fortunately it was right there, and
I can testify when he came back, he was a brand new man.
that was the
So I got to hang out at Indian Gardens, take my pack off, lay on my back, watch the stars for about 20 or 30 minutes. And then, Dean, we head out of there on our way out. We got 4.7 miles to go.
And I was behind you for the first 0.7, and then all of a sudden I just started breathing hard, sweating like crazy. I couldn't understand it. It was a sensation I haven't felt since Mount McKinley, and so I just knew I got to stop. I was going to say something to you, but I thought, no, I'll just stop, catch my breath, and I'll catch up to you like a man, you know. But boy, when I stopped, all of a sudden everything drained out of me.
Which was kind of surprising for Steve and I, because you were a bull coming out of the North Rim. You were way ahead of us.
I figured I'd be the same on the other side, but more I hit the wall. So
It's funny too. First one out of the North Rim, way ahead of Steve and I. Last one out of the North Rim, leaning over his poles, breathing like a dead man several times. You're the first one out on the South Rim.
I was motivated. I saw. I was like the horse headed for the barn door at that point.
That's right.
All right, Dean, so we get up to the... I see you falling behind. I'm kind of waiting for you a little bit, but I'm not waiting for you to catch up. I just make sure you keep moving. You get to the 3 Mile House, and that's when the fun begins.
Well, yeah, you were on ahead. I got to 3 Mile, and I knew I got to get water, and I could barely get my Camelback lid on. I was so shaky. I was trembling. I was sweating. I was getting cold, but that didn't hit me right then. So I was trying to get this together. If I didn't get water, I'm dead. I can't go any further. And then there's a 911 phone, emergency phone, and I'm just first time in my life. I'm going to call. I don't care if it costs me money, if they have to helicopter me out, take me out on a stretcher. I was at the very end of my rope. But the only thing that saved me from not picking up that phone was Mentor. Early on the trip said, "Don't even tell a ranger we're doing rim to rim to rim.
Right.
They'll sit you down and not let you go because they don't like people doing it for this very reason, that people getting stuck." So I didn't pick up the phone, and I thought, you know, I think I'm getting hypothermia. And so I put every piece of clothing I had on, and I warmed up a bit because it was chilly and it was windy. Drank some water, stayed about 10 minutes, and I thought, you know, even though I'm not going to make it, at that time I just knew I'm not going to make the 3 o'clock deadline, but I can crawl out of here at 4 or 5 in the morning. Because you said, you know, if somebody gets behind,
Keep
you just
going.
keep going, and we'll see you at the top. Maybe it's light, maybe it's breakfast or whatever. And I figured, well, you know, I could probably just crawl out now that I'm getting a little better. So I got on my horse again at 12:15.
And Steve, you're out at 12:47.
12:47. I hit the trailhead and.
We heard the hallelujah coming down the mountain.
You know, and before we left, Don was telling us, yeah, there's two little tunnels you go through, and then there's also a tunnel on the North Kaibab Trail, and as I come back, I didn't remember running through two tunnels coming down Bright Angel.
Yeah.
I thought maybe he meant the one on North Kaibab and this one, so maybe I'm almost out.
Now, Dean, I waited for you, just making sure you're still moving, and I haven't given up on you yet. But at the 1.5 mile house, I make the decision that I need to wait for you until you get there.
And that saved me because from 3 mile to the 1.5 mile, that was the hardest 1.5 mile of my life.
Yeah.
I mean, really, I was just stopping every 5 minutes. I was trying but I just said, I just got to keep going, even if it's 3 or 4 or 5 in the morning. And then when, I was like a 1/4 mile away, I saw your headlight up there. I knew it was you because nobody else was on the trail, and Steve was way already gone. In fact, I could see your light way up in the top. Yes, so I knew you were going to make it, and then Don waited for me, thankfully, because I wouldn't have made it. So I got there, and I was like, "Where are we?"
And one of my favorite moments of this year's hike is Dean gets to the 1.5 mile. Don, where are we? Buddy, we're at the 1.5 mile. You got a no. Where are we? How much further? We're at the 1.5 mile house. No. How much further do we have to go? 1.5 miles. And Dean,
I couldn't believe it.
It took you 5 minutes to register, really.
I really thought, I just didn't think I had covered that far. But it took me from 12:15 to 1:45.
Yeah, something like that.
At the 1.5 mile mark, it was an hour and, what were we?
You were an hour and 45 out.
Okay, so anyway, that was a long 1.5 miles to the 1.5 miles mark.
Now, for those of you who know Dean, can you picture this? The dude is so feeble, he hands me his backpack and says, could you please give me some water? I can't open it or close it. And so
I truly could not. And it's a good thing I had my poles because I was stumbling like a drunk guy all the way up there. I was just really, really hard to walk.
So we tell Dean at that point, hey, buddy, you got 1.5 miles, an hour and 45 minutes. You can do this.
And when he said 1.5 miles, an hour, I did the math in my head. I said, I just came 1.5 miles in 45 minutes. I can do this. I can crawl up the last. So that gave me a tremendous boost of confidence that not only am I going to live, I'm not going to get helicoptered off here. I'm not going to die of hypothermia. I'm actually going to make the goal. I'm going to get under, and by then I was calculating, okay, I could probably get in at 2:30, 2:45. I got 15 minutes to spare.
Yep.
And then we just kept on cranking.
Dean cranked out. He saw the Samantha, you'll love this. If this makes to the ESPN on your highlight, Sam, I know you remember when you turned that little corner and you started to cry and the tears were running down and Derek thought he was going to carry you out of there. Dean got to the tunnel right there, Sam, and he said, I'm the crying girl. I just don't have any tears. And boy, you talk about one happy camper. We got out at 2:08.
Yep, and the
52 minutes to spare.
And that first tunnel he talked about, the mile tunnel, I was like, wow, I got an hour and 15 minutes. And then it was 15 minutes at that last mile.
Yep.
And it was an amazing experience to come out of there alive and well and under 50 minutes to spare.
Okay, for all those of you who watch this thing, because we're going to show this to future groups, $1 million question. Steve, you've done a death march. 50 miles, 24 hours. Ever again?
I'll have to give it some thought. I'm not going to rule it out, but
Dino?
There's my answer right there.
All right,
No.
just for the record, I predict in 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, Pastor Coles is back on the trail with us. All right, folks, that's it. We'll see you next Death March.
Never again.
Are you a stranger to God? Carried away with your pride. Tell me, sinner, did you ever stop to think